Okay, so if you're joining us tonight, a couple things I'm assuming. So I don't want anybody to be lost if they're coming on here for the very first time, because I've held two workshops. I guess I should put that up on the training page too. I've held a workshop kind of for newbies, but really what it is I've gone over the training page that I sent out. And so in the emails that you got to get here, or in the text you got to get here, um, actually the text didn't have it, but there's an email that basically says a training page. It's basically totalmotionrelease.com/longevity training. All right, that takes you to the page that I put together so that you guys could help, or that it could help train you on what it is. I'm going to bring it up here in a second. Okay, let me share my screen. So, somebody else is coming in here. So on this web page, there is a ton for it. I've revamped it. There's times I just revamp it. I usually try to send something out. I have a new video up here that's short, because what I did is I chopped it up, and in front of each one, I made another video. Like, what's the core 90? Why do you want that? Right. And then when you get down here, how to order, how to get almost free shipping. Then I've got other plans of the core 90. I probably should say other plans of the core 90. All right. And I'll tell you why this is all I want you typically on the first time. And then again, I address MLM company. Attend a live class that I have every Thursday. And then after your first 60 days, what do you do? Or after your first 30 days. This is basically what I'm talking about tonight. But instead, where we got maybe a couple of these core four, like hard tissue, is a hard tissue issue, a back soft tissue, blood sugar, digestion. I now have immunity, stress, all eight of them. All right, all right, and there's actually 8 + 2. Okay, I'll talk about that tonight. Now, the other thing is step 7 down now. You got it. I know there's tons on here, but this is where it's the only place I have to put it. I want to put it on one page for everybody. This is how to learn more about Dr. Joe Wallach. And then at the very end, I'm going to start adding new stuff. So every now and then you can check on this page and see if Tom's added any new stuff. I'm probably going to add the physical web classes that I did with Paul, and the other girl's name is Cheryl, just so you can see them raw if you want to see them done that way. Okay. So let me go and discuss. Okay, is there any questions about your own supplementation? I know we just dealt with shipping. Shipping usually takes about 7 days. If you're on California, if you're closer to California, it'll take half that time. If you're on the East Coast, it's going to take you, it does take 7 days. That's one of the negatives. All right. Any other questions before I kind of get going here? All right. So look, there is a protocol after listening to them that I like the best. Okay. What's really great is just like with TMR, there's no one answer here. There's many. Yet, with clinical experience, in listening to them as far as their experience that they've had, and listening to the ones that develop certain protocols, I feel the best way to do it is the core 90. Think of it as the Fab 6. We'll talk a little bit about the core 90. Well, maybe probably not tonight, but core 90 is you can literally the core 90 pack or anything that's a body pack, but the core 90 is the cheapest way to get it. It's a great way to start. It doesn't have all the extra, like sometimes they put extra plant products in it or extra herbs and stuff. You don't need it for another $20. $48 can get $48 as far as the Ultra Body Toddy can do you just great. Nothing wrong with picking anything else, but let me talk about the progression here. And then we'll deep dive into it, because I want you to know this one first, because this is the basic simplicity of it. Core 90, then the digestion protocol. The lady who developed digestion protocol, she actually makes people do the digestion protocol first and then get on the 90 and or do them both at the same time. I believe in that too, because majority of people's guts are messed up. Even though when you take the health score, your digestion score oftentimes is the lowest because it's not being felt, but all those other conditions you're having is because you're not absorbing just the 90 essentials. So if we can get you absorbing the 90 essentials, you may not need the other stuff, or you may have such significant changes. Now, when I was talking to Cheryl during the meeting, Cheryl was here when all they had was the product of the BTT, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, which is the 90 essential nutrients. And she goes, my God, the changes before we had any of the other products. She goes, I got the opportunity to see just from that one product what happened. She goes, it was phenomenal. Well, Paul goes, well, I've been here before the company was formed when it was just a product, and it was a plant-based minerals, which were just the 60 minerals. And he goes, it was enormous, just the changes from those. All right. So a lot of times we, especially as clinicians, want to add massive complexity to it. So what I want to do is you say core 90, then let's get your digestion. And I'm going to give you the 20-day protocol for digestion. And then let's add stuff on. And that's the way I'm going to talk tonight. Okay. The thing is, the core 90 to explain is simple. The gut restoration is relatively simple too. It's just format, which actually I'll put on the bottom of the page, all right, bottom of the training. After this workshop, I'll put it there so you know what products are in it. And then the add-on that I hope to be able to get all the way through tonight is where the complexity comes in, because it kind of gets overwhelming on all the possible conditions somebody could have, and what do you do, and how many doses you do, and what if they're kids, and what if they're this. But I want to take as much as the way I can. So I think, can I do this? Let's see if I can do this. Questions as I set this up? I'm actually trying, I'm going to
Tom, does Longevity have an iPhone app?
I believe they do actually. Did I? I thought they did. Thought I put it on here. Can't remember if I put it on my phone or let me see. I don't have it on my iPad right now. I have to look at the App Store. Check the App Store, just look up longevity and see if it does just while I'm doing this. Let me share my
When you
screen.
move people along, you're doing the core 90 plus the bottle of minerals, and then the next step is to add the digestion protocol on top of the core 90 plus the one bottle of minerals, correct?
Yes. And I'm going to do
Okay.
the ideal scene, because then you're going to have to adjust based on people's affordability to things. All right. So I'm going to go through the pure ideal scene tonight and then go from there. Why did it? I want to share my screen. I might not be able to do this tonight. I didn't get it. Share screen. Oh no, that must not be on there. Oh, I can't. No, I'm not going to, because I'd have to get off. I have myself hardwired. If I get myself hardwired, my internet becomes a little worse. So one more time, I'm going to do the core 90. I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Okay. I'm going to do.
There's two sound, the sound is overlapping, like two videos are playing when you're talking.
Okay. Let's see. Does that help it? Does that take it away, Jeanette? Do you still have it?
It was me because I went to your site and your video started playing. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So let me share my screen, because this is the easy one to do from here. Okay. So the first thing to start somebody off on, yourself. Okay. I'm not even talking about if you eventually wanted to do this with patients or something, is the core 90. Reason is, in the core 90 has the ultra body toddy, which is the cheapest way to get all the essential nutrients besides the omegas. So your 60 minerals, 16 vitamins, 12 amino acids. It doesn't have the EFAs. It's actually 3 EFAs. All right. is the Ultra Body Toddy. It's $48 rather than the BTT, which is $69. Right? This is why this plan is. The Cal Toddy is your Osteo FX, except it's got more magnesium. That's why we like this more. You will hear Dr. Wallach talk about the BTT plans simply because, again, they're going to get into more expenses, and there's more things in it that will be added when you do the add-on products if needed. But this is the winner right here. Right? You're going to build up to, if you're more than 100 pounds, up to 125, 130 pounds. You still probably can get away with one dose. But again, if you're not feeling like, yeah, it's getting all the way, you're going to add a second dose. So if the bottle says 1 ounce, you take 1 ounce. Bottle says 1 ounce, you take 1 ounce. Omega-3 says 3, you take 3. We're getting ourselves up to the baseline of what we should have. The omegas can be increased, which we'll talk about later, so I'm not going to go. These can be increased for certain conditions. Actually, sorry, the omegas is 4 a day. Can be increased to 8 to 12, all the way up to 16, depending upon what somebody's got going on, which we'll talk about later. This is the 90. Now I'm going to show you some other things, and then I like, if people can afford it, to get another thing, a plant-derived minerals. I do not mind the regular shot of it. I don't like the cherry flavor. People love the strawberry kiwi. I haven't had it yet. People would probably say there's a yucky flavor. I don't mind taking shots, and I don't guess drank yucky stuff. I don't know. I don't think it's that bad. All right. What I set up is I do a shot of this in the morning of each of these. I take my pills. Then in the afternoon, I'll take this, a shot of it. Then I'll do my next dose of this, an ounce, and then if I'm only doing 4 pills, I'll do 2 in the morning, 2 at night. And if I want to before bed, or let's say I went and worked out, or let's say I sat out in the sun and I sweated a bunch, I might take some other minerals. So the minerals I'm taking at times that, I don't know, I just went and worked out, I'm going to take them. And I usually take them, at least once a day, sometimes twice. This bottle is designed for 1 shot, 1 ounce every day for 30 days. All your bottles are designed for 1 dosage for 30 days. I'm going to ask you if you have questions about the 90 here in a minute, but on top of this other plans, it talks about if you didn't want the Ultra Body Toddy, which is this one, you could switch to less carbs, get it in the Tangy Tangerine. You can get the powder, which is more, and it does have more things in it. They still got all the 90, but they add herbs to it. They add some probiotics to it, which you're going to get if you need it in the add-on products. And the Tangy Tangerine, if you just go, I don't want powder, I don't want the inconvenience of liquid, I just want a tablet, here's where it is. Okay. So that basic plan. All right. So again, I shouldn't even say that. If you wanted to replace this with something, you could. All right. And the Osteo FX liquid, or this has less carbs. You could replace, in the case of the Cal Toddy, this. Notice they're the same price, so it wouldn't be any different. Right? Which is kind of nice. Less carbs, but you don't have as much as magnesium. That's it. That's all there is to the Core 90. Get people on it, get yourself on it, 30 days. Get the good food, bad foods in proportion. No oils. Why don't we want oils? Because oils, as soon as you pop the bottle, you start oxidation. Period. In fact, when they pour it, you are now having, how many of you guys have oil that's been sitting around a little bit? All that's being oxidized, which means some portion of it's rancid, which means it's producing free radicals. Use butter, ghee, and lard to cook in as much as possible. Okay. Any questions about the Core 90? Because, all right, let me show you one more thing, because you're going to run into this. and you might go over here to shop. Let's do the 90 for life. And you'll see, but what, Tom? There's a healthy body pack. Tangy Tangerine 2.0, Osteo, EFA. Well, we gave you the cheapest stuff without all the extra. We increased this to 300 milligrams. We removed some stuff. We didn't remove any of the 90. All right. But if you look on the back of this pack, it's got some herbs in it. It's got some probiotics in it. EFA plus, we erased it, or we added the omegas instead. And there's a way then to get some of what's good in here back. But for right now, you wouldn't even be wrong to get this. So if all of a sudden you were like me and you listen to Dr. Joel Wallach and you know, this is what Dr. Joel Wallach recommends, then go ahead and get it. Just follow the script that it says on here too. Follow the dosage it says. These are for 100-pound weights. I don't know if there could be any other question about that. So any other questions about that? I want that totally understood. Step one, there it is.
Just one question to clarify from last week. When you say 100-pound weight, it's based on what their ideal weight should be. So like if you have somebody who's 350 pounds, they're not taking like 3 doses of it, right?
Well, okay. That's a really good question. Are they a really big guy as far as tall and what could be athletic? Then maybe they could. Like if they're athletes and they gotten fat, yeah, then you could. You again would not start there. I would go with the 2 because that's where the most, let's say the guys were to fall. But I wouldn't also either say this. It's a lady that's 350 that should be 130. I would not just give her 1 dose. I would definitely be giving her 2.
Yeah. Would you start her on 1 dose for like a day, then a couple days, and then
That's interesting because you can literally, like Cheryl was talking, she goes, I had somebody on like a 1/4 dose and they're getting nauseous from it. And she goes, I didn't think that would happen because she's a larger lady. So don't get unexpected. Make sure they say to you, or you tell them if you're dealing this with other people, that look, we got to start you off slow to see how your body responds. Now, it's a response like that Cheryl had meant that their gut, their digestion was messed. Okay. So she was slowly building them up. What is slow? Is it 3 days? Is it 5 days? Well, for me, I think it was the osteo that was kind of getting me bloated. So I stopped taking so much. I cut to half, cut half of what I was taking. And then, okay, I was fine. Built back up to it. I think I then so I was I took immediately 2 scoops, right? Each day. And I was like, or a full scoop. And I was like, I'm really gassy and stuff. That's weird. So I went down to half until it was normal. And then I went back right up to the full scoop and it didn't bug me. Probably should have done a 3/4 scoop and then a scoop, but that's what worked for me.
okay.
Makes sense?
Yeah, because I have somebody in mind, and um they're probably starting Wegovy to lose weight because they need bilateral hip replacements, and they're just like a mess. So I'm sure, and on pain meds, and so I mean, there's going to be a
Again,
lot to
don't
uncover.
like this is what they'll Paul and Cheryl also say. The more messed up they are, the less they start them on.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like I'm glad you said that about the half, because I'm thinking I would start with a half for like 3 days, see how they did,
Yeah, and
then
they'll
move
feel
another
it.
half for the next 3 days, like
Yeah,
that.
correct.
Okay.
Did you become a distributor yet?
No,
Just so
but
you
I'm
guys
going to
know,
try it on this person's a family member and not very open to receiving
yeah.
information from me.
I just want to know.
Um,
I want to let you guys know this. Sometimes, like, what's it cost to be a distributor? And like, they place one at thousands. It's $49. Okay, gang. So, this distributorship just has to do with your ability to sell it to somebody else, and it's $49 for the year. Okay, so this is not like this business. If you decide to go, and I'm doing the business to help people because I like the process. And in the meantime, you also make money with it. But I just wanted to get that because I don't think I actually shared that anywhere. Okay.
yeah,
So
no, I actually plan to do it that route because I have a few people in mind. And my target audience is moving more to the active outdoor, running, walking, who has aches and pains, like, musculoskeletal stuff, but they
Yep.
sweat a lot.
Yeah.
And that resonates with me quite a bit. So I'm going to be trying it, but I'm just going to automatically sign up as a
Plant-based minerals
distributor.
for the sweat, plant-based minerals and or rebound. Really great one.
Yes.
All right. So now Marlene says her first one. She says, sorry. So if I'm 150 pounds, I start with 1.5 dose. Okay. So 150 pounds, a dose and a half. All right. Because you're above 100 would be probably optimal for you, but don't take it all at once. Do a scoop in the morning, see how you're doing. See what if you do a scoop in the afternoon or in the evening. Make sure you feel good for a couple days on that. Then increase to 3/4 of a scoop twice a day, and that'll be your scoop and will be your 1.5. Okay. If you're really active, I would go to the 2 scoops. Any other questions about just the 90? I really want to make it just like you guys know with a Fab 6, oftentimes you don't even have to do extra stuff. You want to do more of it. Same thing here. We're going to start small, like we start with arm raise, trunk twist, leg raise, right? Just only do that. And then maybe we add this to stand and stuff. We're still only trying to get the core 90, which us in TMR is the Fab 6. Okay. I want to equate it to something similar. Awesome. Let's go now. Anything else? Because I'm about ready to go to the gut protocol, which is more expensive for 20 days. And you only have to do this once, and then maybe you want to do it every quarter, maybe every 6 months. If you find that you want to keep your gut really healthy, I've just got to pull it up here. So ask away though, as I'm looking for anything else. Gut protocol, there it is. And I will put this at the bottom of the page. All right, I'm going to share it right now. And some of this stuff I'll just be sharing what it is, and I'll even actually include some videos a little later on each of these because I've asked for them. Okay, so why do we do the digestion protocol next? Because majority of people gut is messed up from the gluten, because yes, gluten makes your intestines and stuff gluey. So just a way to remember it. And if you don't, I've got to go here because somebody did say they were new, is that the good food, bad food list is at the very bottom here of what you should try your best to get rid of these bad foods. Big thing is glutens, all right, and oils. All right. And those with digestion, mostly don't drink 30 minutes before and 30 minutes after, an hour before your meals, because as you get older, you lose hydrochloric acid. Try to stick along this line of eating. All right, where am I now? All right, the gluten protocol. So make sure you've gotten that removed. And now it's time for the gut protocol. Because without getting rid of this stuff, and again, we're trying to get rid of sugars for now while we're on this program, it's something called the I-26 powder. This alone could be a standalone, how like there's companies that make billions of dollars with one product. This is their patented product. There's a wonderful video. I'm going to put it down here. I'm going to make sure I put it down at the bottom if I can get access to it. And this is one of the only few things that heals the gut. The other things there are to maintain it and stuff. So for 10 days, for a total of 20, sorry. I recommend 10 days of each dose for a total of 20 days. I recommend 10 days of each dose for a total of 20 days. All right. So for the 20 days, you're going to need this, what you're going to need. All right. These are all products you look up on longevity under search. And then, so what you're going to do is 1 scoop of I-26 powder. All right. And that's it. You can actually put it in your coffee, but it can't be too hot, but your coffee, you can put it in there. Nightly essence, 4 caps at night for 10 days. That's it. You're going to take the 90 also. Then for the next day, 10 days, do the following. 1 scoop of the I-26 powder, nightly essence, 2 caps. And you might be going, but what about these digest and enzyme things? Well, there's a little difference of what they do. So your I-26 and nightly essences you're doing, okay, just like it says. Now, the I-26 and nightly essence should be taken on an empty stomach. I recommend the I-26 first thing in the morning, 45 minutes to an hour before eating, and the nightly essence at least 2 hours or so after food and at least 1 hour after any drink or supplements. Ideally, you should continue to take the I-26 each day and probiotics periodically, even after you do the program. I still take the I-26 every day also. Now, in addition, what are these other 2 things? These are enzymes to help you digest things. So in addition, take Ultimate Enzyme 2 before each meal and digest FX 2 mid-morning, 2 mid-afternoon with a glass of water. So 2 before each meal. And then this is a different, 2 mid-morning, 2 mid-afternoon with a glass of water. Once you complete the Flora program, it is a good idea to take several enzymes each day, both with the meals and between meals. I had to take those for a while. If I have carbs now, I take them, but because I eat mainly meat, I don't. This program is for everyone, as we generally don't get probiotics in the foods we eat, and supplementing is beneficial, blah. People who have problems with absorption, immune function, allergies, autoimmune, bowel problems, skin problems, blah, blah, blah. Most people have these problems to a certain degree, and many don't realize it. It is a good practice to complete this program every 4 to 6 months to help maintain a healthy balance of good and less desirable gut bacteria. The most impressive thing I notice are people who have food allergies, especially lactose intolerance, and those who are not seeing the results they expect to see taking supplements see dramatic improvement in their GI. This program is very helpful for any and all to improve. Research confirms that roughly 70–80% or more of overall immune function is dependent on a healthy gut. It's important to maintain the flora. Okay, not too bad. This is probably going to run you, Scott, if you want to run this up. I don't know, you can write it up real quick and add up while we're doing it. You've been here the most, so you're not going to miss much. Write these down right now, I-26, and then look them up on the Longevity site for me, I-26, and just get a price, digest, ultimate. And again, it's telling you how much you need. So it's just 1 bottle of each, ultimate enzyme, nightly essence. Then you probably want to, okay? You got that, Scott? Tell me when you're good. You're good? Okay, so you got them? All right. Is there any questions about step 2 of let's get a healthy gut so we make sure we're absorbing things right? We have the good food, bad food list, and then we have what we're doing for 20 days. Pretty straightforward.
And you do step 2 on month 2?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways people have done it. That lady right there likes to do this first and then do the core 90. Most of the people in longevity do the 90, all right, and then the core. And some, I hate to give you 3 different ways, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 different ways. Take it with so do the core 90 and the gut protocol. Just do the gut protocol and don't do the 90. I guess there's that. All right. Or just do the 90 first month, second month, do the digestion. Now you might go, well, which one would you choose and when? And I'm thinking my wife's coming on these things now, and she was just telling me, she goes, I love it when she goes, I'm losing a lot of hair and stuff. I go, oh my God, this is exactly what I do. What do you mean? And I said, well, we got to get you on this. And I'm thinking that I'll probably do with her, because she's experiencing something, I'll probably do them at the same time. Okay. One of the reasons why would you want to do the gut protocol first is because if they're not digesting the 90, you could say that you're just pissing that down the drain to a degree. But the other take to it is, look, you got to get some in you. You got to get more in you than what you're getting. Even if you're not getting it all, you're getting more than what you've been getting. So that's the way I kind of look at it, is that most people, I'm just going to start with the core 90. On the second month, I'm going to include both of them, the core 90 and the gut protocol.
So Tom,
Yep.
if you're having, like you said, start the 90 day and 90 essentials for that first month and they're doing great and they're not having symptoms and things are well, then continue on that. And that, are you still going to add that gut portion or
What
are you gonna wait till it's symptomatic or?
it's a great question. But if they're doing good, unless we have enough clinical experience to it, how are we going to know that they couldn't be doing just great on the minerals? In other words, so you got good and they're doing fine, but we don't know how good that is. Like, how good are those 90? So they've got a baseline.
Right.
Now let's just, without doing anything else, so we just K that, they'd say good. But what if we just found out that they do have some gut stuff? We clean that up. Now they keep doing the 90. And on that third month before they go, oh my God, now those nutrients are really kicking my butt. They're doing all, in a good way. That's my thought process on it. But that doesn't make it the right one, right? Just like doing twist versus an arm raise doesn't make it the right one. Okay. So you would so why would you say, based on finances, good is good, let's keep it going, right?
Right.
But if they then say, hey, would you like to see if we can rocket ship the 90? The thing that most people have a problem with is gut, even though you may not be feeling it, but you've got soft tissue stuff going on, you got hard tissue, you got achy joints, maybe just that could be because of an absorption issue. Let's knock that out, then and we'll keep on the other stuff if they can afford it. Okay. Because theoretically, you could say they can't afford it, you could do 90, then you could do the gut, and then you get them back on the 90, right? You could do the gut, then get them on the 90. You've got to play, that's the only art part of this, and that's really the art part of money. Cool. Now, please answer the rest of these questions, because the next part gets heavy. And I really don't want to lose the simplicity of these two things. And I want you to always come back to these two rather than the rest. All right, for quite a period of time, because I'd rather to say to people, well, I'm going to share with you how, but somebody just wrote me something, so let me say it. So we add the DICE program to the P90 program, P90X, yes, program the second month, if possible, not stop the 90. I think you heard correct. If it's somebody, the ideal situation, core 90, then core 90 with the gut protocol. If it's a finance thing, you may do gut protocol, then the core 90. Or what usually is the core 90, then the gut, and then get back to the core 90. I don't like to, once they're on the core 90, to stop it. Usually once you get on it. But again, your problems may happen is people go, oh, it didn't work. It's not that it doesn't work. There is protocol also on this. Number one, are they taking the right product? All right, really, number one is the good food, bad food list, because they ain't going to absorb it there. That's why the gut protocol starts with the good food, bad food list. All right. So most of the time, looking at it, are they taking the right thing above with step 0, good food, bad food list? Step 1 is, are they taking the right thing? So we got to 90. Let's say they're having problems and you go, oh, I think it's a digestion. Should I stop? It's a choice here. All right. Usually wouldn't, but then you'd say, okay, are they taking the proper dosage? So before I decide anything, are they taking the right stuff? Are they taking the proper dosage? Those two things help a ton. Those three: bad, good food, on the right product, dosages. We know the core 90 is the product, initial one. So that's going to be yes. There's not like, oh, I wonder whether there should be something else. No. Okay. Now we go for, next and last thing, sorry. We got the good food, bad food, right product, dosage, and consistent. Are they consistently taking it? Nah, I'm forgetting it. I'm leaving it in my fridge because it's a liquid and stuff. If that's the case, we may have to go to the powder or the tablets kind of thing. All right. But there it is. Are they being consistent? Just like with TMR when we run it through, right? We go through, are you doing the step 1? Are you doing all this stuff? Boom. Step 2, step 3. Well, step 1 here is good food, bad food. Step 1 is, are you taking the right stuff? Step 2 is, are you doing the right dosage? And step 3 is consistency. All right. Now, we then say the gut protocol, and the same steps happen. Are you doing the good food, bad food? Are you doing the right dosage? It says, are you, well, you're in the right product, which means, or do you have the gut protocol stuff? You're doing the right dosage, which was just one. I mean, that was pretty simple. And then are you being consistent taking them? Cool. Now we have done 90. We've done the core digestion thing. We get back on the core stuff. We don't have to really worry about the digestion as much. We may still want to take the I-26, which when you read it, you can say, "Dan, that's some damn good stuff." I like the nighttime nightly essence. It's got like 50 billion probiotics. And thing is, most probiotics will say, upon packaging, this is how many probiotics, but Dr. Wallach's very stickler on it, and he wants to make sure that when the expiration's there, it still has 50 billion. At least that's what I'm told. It doesn't say on the bottle, though. So don't quote me on that, but that's what I've heard, and I'm going to ask some more about it. Okay, we good. Let's go and get heavy now. But I'm going to try to keep it simple. Let's just say we're doing a health survey, health evaluation. Let me pull one up. I'm going to pull one up and get rid of somebody's. I should pull up somebody's was really yucky here, but I still need you to be able to see it. And ask any questions and unmute yourself if you got questions. Well, I can do two things at once. I just can't read, look, and then answer. But if you got questions while I'm looking up a eval here.
I have a question. Like if I'm coaching someone for, pain relief and trying to introduce nutrition at the same time, like, that could be overwhelming to make lots of changes all at once.
Absolutely.
So my thought is that as they're working on their TMR for the first week or so, that I introduce the good food, bad food list with that to start.
It's nice. Yes.
Before introducing a ton of products.
Amen, sister.
Okay.
Yes.
Wanting to thank you.
I couldn't agree more. The more confusion, the more misunderstanding, and the more likely for them to leave. Okay, all your treatments. All right. Sorry, I have to copy this a certain way so names aren't seen and stuff. And then I have to use another program to stop it. So just bear with me a second. I can't turn on my speaker. Sorry. I think I answered the question there. Opposite. 0 equals no problem. 5 is bad. 5 is bad. That is true. When you do the health questionnaire, 5 is bad. So come on. There we go. All right, let me cut this out. All right, I'm just making sure no names are stuck in scene. I think it can be. I saved it. All right, so now let me pull this up. All right, so a health eval, most of you have taken that are on this call. It kind of looks like this. All right. So this person took it. They got a score of an 8. I believe it's 90 or higher is really good. Right. I've had the lowest I've gotten is 120. Somebody had a negative 120. So what we do, and I'm going to show you this hard tissue. Anything that's not soft in the body is hard tissue. So we're talking bone and stuff. But it relates to other things, right? Trouble falling asleep, headaches, joint pain, obviously, brittle nails, gum problems, back pain. I mean, so many things can happen from what we do as clinicians. Fair. Soft tissues, anything that's not hard tissue in the body, brain, heart, organs, muscles. But again, notice because it's brain, focus is in there, forgetfulness, obviously a little bit libido, because again, that's soft tissue area, eyesight. Eyes are huge. There's lots of neat products for those too. Body pain, also overall. Notice it says overall body pain. Craving, skin problems, age spots. This is a big skin one also. Okay, so is hair, so is this one. To as far as nails and stuff. And there's things that you're going to kind of do for both. All right, but yeah, your omegas are big on soft tissue, but there's more. You got blood sugar. All right, diabetic food cravings, tired, fatigue. This all kind of relatively makes sense. Falls asleep, getting tired after your meal. You got digestion. But again, look at this. Her digestion is the lowest. And this is what I'm going to say, but she's got the other thing, 32, 31. This one you can decide whether it's good or bad, 19, but you got her digestion worse. So it misleads you thinking digestion is not a problem. This is the biggest one that leads to the other ones. 77, 154, so needs to build a scoop and a half, maybe 2, depending upon her activity level. And then it says, what we like to do is, what would you like to have fixed first? Now, if she says reduce overall achy and pain, I know exactly what I'm going to do on this person for that. All right. And I'll tell her because she described a hard tissue issue. All right. And now I'm going to take you through how we decipher that. So we've got their 9 on 90. We've got their digestion. We know that it's looking pretty good. Now what? Okay. If I need to slow down, or I'm sorry if you're bored to max, but I feel like this has to go because I listened to it this afternoon, and it was like a fire hose in my mouth. So, okay, here are all the different ways to do the Core 90. Okay, this is all the same product packaged differently. I don't really care about that one. I gave you the Core 90. I told you that you could put 2 tablets or anything like that. Hard tissue. We've got them on the Caltati or the OsteoFX. OsteoFX has got 300 milligrams of magnesium rather than Caltati that's got 6. It's got the 1200 milligrams of calcium that you need so badly. He talks about it a lot in it. What's the next product you add? You add collagen. This is cheap. Well, okay. You add the collagen. 2 scoops a day, increasing to 4 scoops a day. See how they're doing. Now, you don't need to, if it's helping, stay with 2 scoops. Go to 4 scoops. How are their achy joints? You've gotten a month through, maybe you've gotten 2 months through, improvements going, and they've hovered, they've maintained, they aren't getting any better. You can go now on the glucogel, 16 capsules. You'll see on the bottle, you'll need 2 if you're going to go the full max. You don't have to go the full max. The bottle has 240 in it. Divide that by 30. That's 8 pills you can go up to start with. Get another bottle. You do 16 pills a day. If that's not, and this is the reason. If they were taking all that stuff and it's not helping them and they didn't do the gut protocol, it's probably gut. Now you kind of just threw some money down the drain by throwing these added things in to fix their tissue, fix their achiness. I am doing this right now and having some pretty significant changes on my right hip that I'm trying not to have a hip replacement on because I did on the left after years and years of doing stem cells and TMR and other, dry needling, other techniques. But it's really having an effect on me right now. It's pretty cool, especially as a therapist going, eh. So I was doing just a glucogel because that's what Wallach recommended. And then they actually they said, glucogel is one of the most testimonial ones in longevity over the past 10 years, but they said the collagen is getting even more at a faster rate. And so I'm doing this one, and I'll probably add this one back if I don't get it. Cool. The rest of the stuff, I'm not going to worry about. See, this is a magnesium cream if you wanted to do it for or it's a collagen and magnesium cream if you want to do a topical just for pain relief. Okay, that's hard tissue. There you go. Somebody goes, hey, I want to get rid of my joint pain. I'm good with the pricing of it all right? Maybe they want to do it a shotgun, but again, core 90, digestion, then maybe month 3, we're up here. Soft tissue. Soft tissue, I'm going to add something to it. All right, I'm going to have to try to remember this. Hey, Scott, how much was a gut protocol?
Everything like the lower price of everything was like $279.80.
Just to get 1 bottle of each.
Right.
Yeah, so you see that without the 90, right?
Yes. Just those 4 bottles. Just those 4
Yeah.
bottles.
So you see how the price jumps up here, and that's not based on body weight. Those things aren't based on body weight. You don't have to increase that for certain body weights. Okay, that's you take what it is. Okay. So you see how it jumps up. 200 and what did you say, Scott?
Right. It's like 280, 279
Okay, 280.
and 80 cents. So
Got it.
like 280.
So you think about that. He said do every 4 to 6 months. You can see where this is a boost, a something. Okay. So you're going from, $109 or $115 ish up to 280. Add those together, and you got what I mean by expenses. Soft tissue here. Now, what we're dealing with here is heart, brain, like I told you, everything we already talked about a minute ago, anything that's not hard tissue. So let's talk about this. It's kind of listed in an order, like the EFA plus and the Omega. Now, why is it done like that? And it's kind of like this. Omega plus is more expensive. Sorry, EFA plus is more expensive, but it comes in your packs. Not in the Core 90 pack, comes in another pack. Omega comes in the pack. This is a power horse. This is 2 because it's got something called GLA in it. All right. Omega does not. There's another way to get it. It's called the multi EFA. All right. Again, I don't have it written on because they didn't have it written on yet. And I just did this today. All right. So there's another product in the EFA. So you got EFA and Omega. Omega is one of the EFAs. Omega has got a powerhouse of DHEA in it, GLA, and one other thing. I forget what it is. We did Omega because it's cheaper and it is really powerful. And most people need omega-3s because that's where they're lacking at it. So we already have the omegas. If you bought the regular package, you have EFA plus. If you want to do a little tweak of it, if you're doing a soft tissue with somebody, the first thing we do, omegas are taking at 4 a day. You bump it up to 8 to 12 and to 16. That's it. See what happens with them. Wonderful for eyes. 1,000, I think it's 1,000 milligrams of omega. I think it's 8 pills. Puts the brain at a high functioning level. So if you're one that needs to improve your focus, you got brain fog and stuff like that, omega-3, this one right here, 8 of them. Right? The one thing that, okay, so you say, all right, Tom, cool. So somebody comes in that we need some soft tissue. They got some eye issues. They've got, want to make sure the heart's good. Want to make sure the prostate's good. Want to make sure the organs are dealing with liver. That maybe they got some gallbladder stuff. Okay, great. I'm going to do omegas. 4, progress them to 8, progress them to 12, progress them to 16. Again, we're doing it based on, are they getting better? If they are, we can stay where they are. If they're not, increase it. Good. Now you can always go back and listen to this. I will actually put this video also on this page. Next thing I want to add something that's got GLA in it, which I could either add the EFA plus and take what it says on the bottle, 3 pills a day. Or I can take something that's not on here called the multi-EFA. And again, remember, you don't have to write this stuff down. I'll put this video down below. It's called the multi-EFA, which you just take one of those pills a day. It's a cheaper thing, and because you're only taking one, it lasts longer too. And it's got the GLA that you need in it. So again, we're paying attention to expenses. The multi EFA is cheaper than the EFA plus. Why would we use the EFA plus? Because it comes in a lot of people's packs if they were bought the other BTT stuff. So really kind of the only reason. Good. Now you see that collagen's on there. You see that something's called selenium on there. And then you see immortalium that's on there. I'm going to talk a little bit about these. This is just something so that you can have a reference and, book to remember, hey, Tom said something about that. I can go back and watch that video again. I'm also doing a thing called Phantom right now that does a summary of this whole thing that I also include. All right, so let me do my best. We talked about what collagen's good for. Collagen has to do with everything with your hair and nails, your vessels, holding your fascia together. So collagen can be the next one, but oftentimes what we recommend next is selenium. Selenium is the thing that, and I want to make sure I put a video down there for you guys. Selenium, if you look up selenium in, PubMed, you will see over 3,000 articles on selenium in cancer. That's how much it's been studied. Selenium cleans out the cells. It's in the other products, but we add to it typically. So our first ones are the omegas, increasing them, adding the EFA, multi-EFA, and then almost at the same time, if they've got that issue, that's one of the things that we add selenium. Selenium is a great thing that everybody should be taking, and you can do 3 pills, 6 pills, 9 pills. Don't stay at 9 pills more than 90 days. All right, kind of builds up. I've really seen, Paul and Cheryl have been on 9 of them for a long time, but again, that's what the research says. Do it for just 90 days, and then back down to 3 or 6. 3. It is one of the Youngevity's top 5 products. Reason is because these 5 products I can speak of apparently are so well researched and so well put together, I guess, with Youngevity. But I'll let Paul one day. I'll have Paul up here one day and he can tell about it. The next thing is immortalium. If you guys have ever heard of telomeres, it's about the thing that is your telomeres. It's kind of like shoelaces, the little plastic tip that keeps them from unraveling. The more of that you can have, the longer your lifespan can be. Immortalium basically is my understanding, don't quote me to it, is that it's basically going to help eat up the free radicals. And there's another company out there doing a product, and I don't really want to put it on the video, that I just asked about because I was interested in that product because I hear a lot of stuff about it. You can email me afterwards. And I asked Paul, and he goes, yeah, well, this immortalium is 4 times stronger because we did research on it once we found out about that product. So I was very impressed with that. So again, 2 tablets 2 times a day, that's absolutely plenty and fine. It's a very powerful product. So you might say, well, how do I know what to give? Because that's what I said to Paul and them. I said, how do I know what to give and when to give them? He goes, less is more. And he goes, unless you have issues going on, or even when you have issues going on, he goes, but the first things they're definitely getting them on is selenium. And the selenium is definitely going to be, if they have a cancer or stuff, it's going to start off first, simple, okay, with lesser, but building them up to 9. All right. And that's it on the soft tissue. Biggest thing is omega is going to make a huge, biggest difference. If people want an extra, think about this. Selenium is basically doing your detoxifying constantly in every cell of your body. Sit back and enjoy the show. If you're trying to digest this for everything, if I'm very fortunate, I learned about all this over the last couple months, and then I made them summarize it at 3 o'clock. We went from 3 o'clock to 4:30, so it's really fresh on my mind. And I'm doing a pretty good job repeating them in a pretty simplistic way so that you didn't have all the extra jargon. Blood sugar levels. That is when you're eating carbs and you go from whatever, 100 blood sugar, which is still kind of high, all the way up to 400, right? And your carbs are killing you. Right. And I'm not even, let's just talk about carbs that you're doing the good carb, the good food side carbs, right? You decide to have bread, but you decide to have gluten-free bread. That's still a carb. Sweeties is a capsule that you take before each meal. If you're going to have carbs, how many? Are you going to have a piece of bread? Take one of them 15 minutes before the meal. You're going to have pasta. Might have to take 3 of these sweeties. Glucogenics works the same way. It's just much more powerful. It's more expensive too. Okay. This, I believe, is their third product that they could market just as their own company because it's that powerful and that studied. And then if somebody wants to replace, because remember, people who have blood sugar issues are basically addicted to carbs. So the keto shake is a very high protein, low carb shake they could replace a meal with. We're going to talk about weight loss here in a bit. But there you have it on that. Now you see why you're not going to talk about this all to a billion patients, right? You're going to say, what do you want to have fixed? Joint. Oh, hard tissue. Good. Let's go up to hard tissue and get you a bottle, get you some collagen. Now, gang, a bottle with 1 dose only lasts 15 days. So they'd have to have two doses of it, 2 bottles and 4. This would be for 4 bottles. This is what I take is like $120. Okay. So we got down to blood sugars. This is great. And these work really well if you're going to eat carbs, if you're going to cheat. All right. All right. Ready for gut health? We already did gut health. It is the I-20. Why is it sitting right there? This is not the most beneficial. The most beneficial one's I-26 without a doubt. The ultimate microbiome has all these products, just less of them in one product. So once, let's say somebody does the gut protocol, they can just take the ultimate microbiome if they want. Or because gut is so important, if you can afford it, you can take one of each of these products. But the nightly essence is the I-26, were the big ones in the gut restoration. There are other ones. There's called root beer belly, which is a probiotic that is just a sprinkle. It tastes like root beer. It's not on here. I'll try to. He's going to put it on, but it's root beer belly. And then there's another one called, it's on here somewhere. Where is it? Oh, did they do it? Oh. Sorry, gang, let me do something here. There's another. I've got another one of these and I think it's different. Let's see here. I think I've got an old one that's on the website. Yeah, here it is. So there, I-26 is the first one. There's in between here is root beer belly. Root beer belly, they're probiotics. You sprinkle them on in the morning, drink them, put them on something, sprinkle them, put them in a shake. Apple cider vinegar gummies, wonderful probiotics. Then Ultimate Microbiome has all of them. Nightly Essence is 50 billion. You take 2 of them before bed. The Digest FX is in Ultimate Enzymes are just ones you take before meals. Really, we mainly use the Ultimate Enzyme now. They don't use this much at all. Okay, but they do use a Cleanse FX. Somebody comes in to you and said, I am constipated as all hell. First, we're going to make sure they're on the Caltati, which has got more magnesium. But there's something else called OsteoMag. 2 pills of that gives you enough magnesium that makes them usually regular rather than constipated. If that don't work, we do the Cleanse FX. And it says it's a gently cleansing the colon. Apparently, it's pretty dramatic. As they said, a Marine developed this one. That was Paul. And he goes, they have different definitions of gently. But Cheryl goes, oh my God, if I take this, it's pretty explosive. Okay. So again, we're talking gut health. I-26 to heal. The root beer belly or this is one you can take in the morning, then take the nightly essence at night. You don't have to add all this stuff, but you get where, hey, somebody's talking. Now you might want to say, hey, Tom, here's what's going on with them. What do you think? This is what they've done. They've done the gut restoration. But again, if you did the I-26, and this is what I do, I-26 and nightly essence, you're doing pretty darn good. But some people go, I'm going to do all of this because except for the microbiome, I'm going to do like Paul goes, he goes, I do every one of these except the microbiome. He goes, because he's got the money to do it. So this is where I started getting like, oh my God, that's too overwhelming. I-26 nightly essence. And then if you want the gummies throughout the day, awesome. Constipated, get this here. Again, just follow the protocol that's on the bottle on these. This is just the gut protocols. That's all the same thing. Okay, immune health. Gang, there's not a big one here. This is like, your kid's going out of school and you want to give them that, what is the airplane thing that the lady developed? You want them to have really special immunity or better immunity. This seasonal immune pack has all these 5 products in it. Great preventer. Take 2 packs if, it just happens to be that flu season. RYL Beta 500, another one of their core products. Gazillion studies, especially for cancer. Somebody's got cancer. This is definitely something they want to be on. It is costly, as you can tell. Right? And besides that, if you guys don't know, vitamin D is prevalent. And anytime you're getting sick, you should up your dose of vitamin D and zinc. Vitamin D is probably one of the most powerhouses. It's unless you've read a lot of the books about vitamin D, which I have, you can go all the way up to 50K. There is a complete black market on the reason why this stuff was changed up. And oh wow, it's changed to 400 IUs is plenty. There was a time that I don't even want to go into it, but way back when hospitals were being built, vitamin D was also massively being pushed and people weren't going to the hospital, and they had all these hospitals that were kind of empty, and they began seeing vitamin D was a prevalent reason, but people weren't going in to be sick. And so they began changing the requirement. So they made a little dose, like a milligram, be whatever, 400 IUs to make it look ginormous. So that when they say 10,000 IUs is way too much, people began thinking that you're going to detox, overdose on D3. There are plenty of books out there. JT, what was it? Bowles, Bowles, has got some great vitamin books on vitamin D3. God, I can't think of Terry Bowles. And then zinc. Many of you guys know the importance of zinc. Very important, and these 2 things can be taken. Somebody's sick, or you can have on hand for when they are. This is, again, all 5 of these is in this seasonal pack, just at a lower dose. But again, you were saying somebody who was sick, they had cancers, things like that, you would most likely get them in a beta 500. Okay. Hormones. We talked about this a bunch with them. Female hormone support. It's what's called a good herb. It's a drop. This is a powder. This is pills. You can see what it's kind of helpful for, but it's really about women hormonal support, period. As you get up older in life, they say this hormonal balancer seems to be, the older ladies seem to like this more. All right. So it's this first, then this. And again, this is great too. It almost works like this, is that sometimes people say, hey, female hormone support didn't do much of anything, but yet this stay balanced was wonders to them. So as far as the female stuff goes, you've got the 3 here plus a 4th one here, but this 4th one also can be for men. All right. Wonderful products, and you've got to try them. This is when it almost comes the art, and you're getting them on into C, and you see whether doing boom. Okay, it's just like when they do other medicines. These are different formulations of different products that are shown to work, but a little bit different. This is more PMS later in life. All right, so is this male hormones, and this is and Xerafem. this is, okay, I think this is the fifth product that they talk about that could be done. Xerofem and Xerotest, it does hormone rebalancing. And basically one of the things all of us, male and female, are low on for some unknown reason is testosterone, much more so in this day and age than before. The male hormone support, they've also got prostate, they got kidney and bladder. These are all, this is a tincture. But these, based on the bottle, you can go with the droppers, you can go up to 3 dropperfuls a day if you're doing it for a therapeutic dose rather than just a maintenance dose. Otherwise, you just follow what's on the bottle. Always contact me. I can always contact Paul to double check on the stuff. Weight loss, big one here, the keto shake. And getting your good food, bad food, and getting right here, the Keto 90 info on my website. This is down below. I had to wait until I get all the way down here, and I put the things, the Keto 90 protocols right here on the website. Okay. The rest of the stuff is depending. If there's certain things that I'm going to talk about. I'm not even going to talk about anything else here. The keto shake was a big one we talked about. Burn, this other stuff comes into energy. Burn is a great energy one. It really wakes people up and stuff. Rev drops do too. And again, this is why, and any of these, like whichever one's your favorite, can do just fine. It's kind of like, they don't have the organic coffee anymore because it's the mushroom one, because they just did away with it. But these all are wonderful products if you have an energy problem. However, you get your core 90, you get your digestion put in, you really shouldn't have the weight loss, or the energy problem. In fact, your desire to eat carbs should be less eventually too, just from doing the good food and not the gluten and stuff. The last thing, well, last two is sleep. Biggest one, HGH, period. I almost don't even want to talk about anything else. The Sleepies, there's a gummy. It's not Sleepies. There's gummy ones. It's not on here. They said they hadn't updated it yet. But they said this alone, your HGH, 6 before bed, is a game changer. You will read HGH all over the place, human growth hormone, and we lose it more and more as we get older. Huge difference, they say. All it is 6, no matter who you are, and you will notice your depth of sleep just improves. They swear by this. I guess this is a 6th one. They love this one. They were raving about it. I said, should I even tell them about any more of this stuff? And they go, well, the relax is more of a stress thing. It makes them relax. They put it up here under sleep because it can help you relax. There are some sleep gummies. I thought it was this one here, but they hadn't put it, that had been really good too, because people like gummies. The rest of the stuff, I'm not going to say anything about. Dr. Wallach hammers home about de-stress. He loves de-stress. So if you hear it, this is the top product that they recommend for stress. And the HGH Youth Complex is basically the HGH. So when it comes to sleep and stress, there's where it is. I'm not going to go. This is all, yeah. Good. This is just the Cal Toddy with the kids. And Smart FX is just smaller pills of the EFA. All right. Smart FX is just smaller. Sometimes the kids, like mine, do. Oh my God, Daddy, these EFA pills are huge. That's a problem. Get them the Smart FX. That makes my head explode just teaching it. But let's just, for you all, know that it exists and know that it's a process. And you go, wow, there are enough products to play around between that your health and your game of getting better nutritionally does exist. If, again, just like with TMR, with the trial error, we're trying to find the right motion. And sometimes we go deeper and find a different motion because it works better. Same thing here, but you can tell that there's an order in which we're trying to do it based on both clinical response and the research that's out there within it. Like that beta gluten 500 that they talked about. They don't go above the 2000 milligrams because the research that has shown that, the research has only been done at most on 2000 milligrams. And that was the RYL something or RTY something. So that was a lot of stuff. So to take all at once or one product at a time for the soft tissue program. Okay, hold on a second. It is a lot. Yes, it is. How do we access previous videos before today? Okay, good. Marlene, there are no previous videos before today because I feel like the video and the page describes it best with the videos I have. All right, so I've updated everything on the website to make it better than the 2 web classes we've had up to now. This is the only one that I'll put on there because it adds to it. My head's gone. I need to step away. Marlene, so you take all at once or one product at a time for the soft tissue protocol? Soft tissue protocol began with your EFAs. In the core 90, you're already taking your EFAs. It's your omegas. All right. So when you up the dosage to 3 to 6 to 9 to 12, or no, it's 4 to 8 to 12 to 16, I would split them up. Like if I was only taking 2, I was doing my vitamins twice a day, my supplements twice a day, I'd take 2 and 2. If I was then increasing, I'd take 4 and 4. Then I'd take 8 and 8. Yeah, right. That's all I got. So I'll mention it just for a second here. Some people talk about the multi-level marketing and stuff. This, when you get into it, if your multi-level marketing is all about business, maybe that's the problem on it. But you're going to notice this company is about the education part, right? Because they know it's the product that's going to help somebody. And so be it by help, and the win-win comes at, and then you make your whole $8 per $100. I put an enormous amount of hours in this kind of stuff. And you go, oh, that's pretty cool, Tom. Appreciate it, because I probably wouldn't have either done this, and I got at least a reference area where I can come to, and I did it in about an hour and a half. And I pretty much gave you now what you can do for me. Like say if you decide to do as a distributor or even yourself, you say, hey, Tom, I've got this going on. I think this is what I take, and I think this is what the dosage I take. What do you say? And I will already know it and say, yes, dead on. I might ask you questions like, you've got the gut things, because I'm going to ask you questions. Are you taking the right stuff? Are you taking the right dosage already with the other stuff, the core 90? Are you being consistent? And are you doing the good food, bad foods? Yes. Okay, cool. Now, what do you want to do? I want to add on. Cool. What do you want to add on? I got a soft tissue issue. My eyes bug the crap out of me. There's something called Octive, Occutive. One of their, I know I've said it now. I've now said it 7 times. I think this is their second or third most results product. I want to try it because I don't usually have glasses, except about 3-4 years ago I started needing readers, and Paul was the same way, and he goes, I don't know how many people have taken away readers, but you know, Occutive. I just not there yet because I'm only on month 3 or 4 right now, and I want to get my rest of my stuff. Okay, what part of the digestive program do you continue as you progress to the specific, i.e. hard tissue, soft tissue programs you just discussed? Okay. We got the core 90. If they can afford an extra bottle of minerals, awesome. Massive, wonderful there. We do the gut protocol. Again, $280. And then what do you continue to take? Well, you're going to begin seeing, damn, this health shit's expensive. And then you can ask, what would you recommend the most? I-26, without a doubt, I would not stop taking. But you may go, well, can't afford it, so you stop taking. So it wouldn't stop taking unless you can afford it. Okay, stay on the core 90. Right? And Paul goes back and forth. I said, I love the nightly essences. I like them. They seem to have done a lot for me. Beautiful. Paul loves his root beer belly. He's another probiotic he takes in the morning. And you will know this because, again, as you begin doing this, you will know when you eat a meal whether you kind of feel funky. That means you need enzymes, which is the ultimate enzymes or digestive enzymes or both, right? And you take them, experiment, and you say, I take 2 pills of that, Tom, and I don't have that problem. Okay, cool. You need those for a while. You need those maybe when you're taking carbs. I don't need them when I'm eating meat. Now, if you got a blood sugar issue and you realize, well, dag, I'm eating a lot of carbs. Now, sweeties and glucogenics does not take away your ability to now eat all the carbs you want because you've got this supplement. Especially if you're pre-diabetic. Don't do that. Well, I love carbs. I'll just eat more sweeties. It'll do better than not, but and won't get rid of your stuff. Anything else? Next week I'll be out of town, so I won't be here, but the following week I will try to do something maybe lighter, or I'll just ask questions, or we'll go over, that's what we'll do. We'll go over a bunch of evals. How about that? We'll go over 4 or 5 evals and say, what would you recommend as your, again, you're going to hear me say step 1, boom, step 2 is digestion, step 3, okay, we're on step 3, we're going to do an add-on, what will we do? We'll do that. I'll get up with Paul beforehand, we'll get on this stuff, and eventually I'll have him on. Chris Brock, I had 1 above. How do we access previous videos before today? I don't know Chris, what do you mean I had 1 above? Oh, gotcha. Does anyone ever get near 100 on his health survey? Wait, somebody just, i.e. share your scores before and after, please. Gotcha. So what I'm doing, and they do too, so I have automation set up for this. Jeanette, you'll love it. I use Go High Level to set up all my automations. So I don't know whether you guys know it. When you guys came on and you logged into the page to get the training, you were put in a certain system that gives you certain text messages and emails. If you then take the health eval, those go away, and now other ones come up and start talking to you. If you become and purchase a product, you get other ones. I don't have ones yet for my distributors and stuff, because I pretty much send everybody to my training page right now. All right. So every 90 days, if somebody's taken a health score and bought products, not every 90 days, every 30 days after they buy products, every 30 days, I'll say, okay, it's been 30 days. Will you take your health score again? And those I'm looking forward to. All right. And then 30 days later, it's day 60. I ask you again, will you take your health survey again? And day 90. And so a year from now, I hope to have a ton of these to be able to share. But the highest score I have seen, I think so far is only 79. Lowest is -120. So again, even that's okay. I mean, it's just a baseline start, because they can be really honest and they can be scoring, because again, it's an objective measure. You know, they may be calling a thing of 5, because again, they got a ton of stuff going on, where many of you may have called it a 2. I don't know. So I don't laugh at the -120. Sorry if I missed this, but is it recommended to always take the core 90? Yes, forever and always, for as long as you breathe oxygen. Core 90 is the essential nutrients that your tissues need, because of what they're made of to do the function of the body. If you don't know necessarily why on that sense, listen to more of Dead Doctors Don't Lie. If you didn't watch the thing, go buy his books. It's also in the training down way at the bottom, and go from there. Okay. You have to get into his mindset, because if you're just doing this like every other supplemental program, at least like what I've done, is that it's just, well, anyways, if you're not doing it based upon his experience and his pathological reports that he's done on 17,000 animals and 3,000 humans, and how he's gotten rid of SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome, because he forced the FDA to have selenium in their baby food, how he cured 11 children of muscular dystrophy, told Jerry Lewis from the muscular dystrophy telethons that you used to see from 1966 to 2010, told him, he was all excited. He told the Muscular Dystrophy Association he was so excited they finally find it, and they fired him and put a gag order on him. And that's why you never saw MD telethons with Jerry Lewis on it anymore. Finding out cystic fibrosis is not genetic, it's a deficiency. And if you supply the mother with the nutrients, there won't be CF. To the degree of taking Down syndrome kids and making them majorly high functioning simply by giving them the core 90 and stuff. So, Jeanette, did you find out about the protein intake in addition to core 90? Do the doses change if you are also consuming the same supplements in the protein powder? Jeanette, I did not ask that directly, and I'm not like, okay, so will you ask that again? I'm having a thought of what I'm thinking you're asking, but I don't want to say something.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I'm not familiar with their protein powder, but if their protein powder has nutrients in it, like minerals, vitamins, probiotics, or anything like that, does that change
No, I
the
got it.
doses from like the Core 90 and all of that?
Core 90 never changes. What you add to it is added to it with this being left alone. So you're not like, for example, there's a lot of others. There's some copper, for example, in there. And would you take other copper at certain things? Let me just say with the selenium, there's selenium in the other products. All right. And you say, but if I add those up, there's already 3 grams of selenium in there, whatever it is. And you said take 3, 6, and 9 to progress somebody. Well, I'm taking 9 pills, but now there's another 3 in the product. You okay for probably those 3 months to go and keep that. So usually the add-ons are exactly that. Add on, don't try to do all these calculations to say boom, because a lot of times it's the cofactors that are allowing the absorptions to happen too. So you don't have to do that of what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Um,
Yep.
I just want the selenium, it cleans out the cell,
Detoxifies basically. Yep.
detoxifies the cell, but it leaves the good minerals and vitamins that you want in the cell there. I mean, I know it works, but I'm just asking. Is it like there's
You
certain
asked whatever.
receptors?
I don't know. I don't. Was the selenium the one that we watched a video on? I don't think it is. There's a lot out there. You can go and research on how it works. And I'll try to, if I can get a selenium video, I'll put it up there.
Because there might be certain receptor sites in the cell. I mean, it works, bottom line, but I was just curious. And then the
Oh,
other thing is,
don't ever hesitate to ask me anything because I like your all's questions because I just send it up the line and then Paul tells me and I have an answer. Then I have an answer for you guys when somebody else asks it. So
and then immortalium, is that right?
immortality. Yeah.
Me personally, I think that's one that should be in the 90 because it's just as you get older,
Yeah.
you start to lose those telomeres.
It
So,
is, I believe, in other products. I'm just not one. You might was the core. Check check the BTT 2.0 and see whether there's any in it. Because see, they fluctuate between what they add to things for certain reasons. And I think that was the one that had the most stuff, but sometimes it's in such small quantities. Like Paul and Cheryl will say, and I get my probiotics with my nightly essence and I don't need to spend the extra $20 for the tiny amount that they put in the BTTs or something. But just see how much they put in of the inventory. But it's just usually not, a giant amount. It's something. Last week I asked about an athlete protocol for how many minerals are needed based on calories burned. Yeah, I'm going to stick with the same thing that I kind of told you before, and that's what they'll say is that each body's going to be different. And they're going to have to, it's about what they're experiencing after they're sweating up a storm. Are they going and getting tired and all? When they take a shot of minerals, are they still tired? Take another shot of minerals. You see, so it's based on that. They are not necessarily changing the core 90 and now adding a third dose, usually the core 90. But actually, Paul will at times say, you know what, I just take another a tablet maybe. So there's nothing wrong with adding and you will begin feeling that. All right, but as far as a protocol, he goes, that's more of an art, and he goes, and it really has to do with the athlete. And I'll make sure I ask him it directly, and I ask him so many things, and usually today is when we go, okay, these are the questions I asked, and I'll try to get more of an answer, but I'm pretty sure based on what I've asked, very similar, he's going to say the same thing, Jeanette. But again, I want to get it from his mouth. If I take the core 90 and selenium, will my hair color go back from silver to my youth color? Was it the selenium with that is what people will say on the testimonials. And you will hear it. There is when when you've gone through the training, if you go through the training, there is a group of people that we have our own Telegram and stuff, and they report stuff. And there's a Facebook group, and you'll hear the testimonials and all. But yeah, people say that. Oh yeah, that's right. Sorry. And that's why I said there was something off when you said selenium. Yes, it's copper. And there's plenty of copper in the products. You'll notice a gram. You check out other products like other nutrient stuff. They're not putting your whatever it is, a gram or milligram of copper like our products have in it. But yes, it's copper, Marlene, not selenium for the hair.
Question about the zinc. Um, so I learned probably about a year ago from a dietitian that if you take zinc long term, and I'm not talking about zinc that's in a multivitamin or something I'm talking about like if you take extra zinc, it can pull the copper out of the bone. Um,
And
so,
I heard that is vitamin C.
oh, okay.
But it could be, again, it could be zinc too. But again, um, I can ask to a degree about
Yeah,
that.
what I was asking, what my question is when they have the zinc product standalone, do they recommend taking that as an immune booster? Because that's what this dietitian was saying. You take it as an immune system, as immune booster, like if you get diagnosed with COVID or you have an upper respiratory, but then after 10 days, you stop the extra zinc. So it's okay to take it, but it like for long term. So that's my question. Like you need to have zinc in your supplement if you're not getting it. Well, if apparently we're not getting it enough in our food because of the way our food is processed, but um I'm
Well,
just wondering, do you always take the zinc supplement extra for if you have a poor immune system or a immune compromised system? And then once that's built back up, do you continue taking the zinc or do you stop the extra zinc?
good. So when you're talking parts, all right, and people say supplement with zinc, they haven't first started getting all the 90 in them. So this is going to keep happening, much like when people keep talking about parts of the body kind of thing. So there's that understanding first, right? Now, if you get all this and the immune system's better and all, this idea that you're going to have to do it regularly may become a lot less. Secondly, though, if you know that you're heading into flu season, you're going to be around people, that's where those immune packs comes in, where you would accelerate. Like Paul, actually, I asked a similar question today. It was more about the vitamin D than the zinc. He says, I will up my vitamin D dose. He goes, if I feel all of a sudden a little funky, he goes, I'm up to 50,000 IUs right then. My wife uses zinc if any of the kids come down and get sick, right? And I used to too, but being on this stuff, I don't feel this stuff in the need to. So I will more ask it directly, but you sit around Paul enough, who sat around Dr. Wallach enough, you're going to probably hit the same things, but I've got it written down on my list to that. Yeah, because I know what you're talking about because it is most you're supposed to take is zinc is like 50 milligrams a day at most.
Yeah, and I should have clarified. I was assuming that you're taking the core products and you start to feel run down like because something's going around or you get exposed to something. So then you take the zinc. Does he say to maybe stay on that through the whole like flu season? Or is there like 10, 20 days where you take it and then you kind of get back where your
I know what you're
immune
asking.
system boosted?
I can say from what I have experienced, but I don't want to, I can say is that from, I've done medical medium, I've done, as I'd say, you might up it during flu season, right? The seasonal packet, it said one a day during flu season, right? So you're staying on it and then you up it as the stuff comes in, but I'll ask directly to see if he says something different than what I do. And I'll text him after this. He loves it. Give him late night. I mean, there's Terry Bowles, I think Jerry. I'll get the Terry Bowles one with the vitamin D. He'll say there's basically 5 vitamins that we majorly are depleted in, and that's vitamin D, magnesium, zinc, K2, and boron. Okay, and so he's always talking about that we're underdone, but he will too also talk about too much zinc does things. So you'll notice that, like you said, zinc takes copper. I said vitamin C, I've heard take copper. So it's rather unique of what, if we're going to listen to the parts, and that's why I'm trying to put it as one product, see how I feel, and then take it when things come up. But again, the rest, if I keep talking, it's just me giving you my opinion. I'll at least give you Paul's.
Just out of curiosity, what is the average person spending per month? Do you know that? Because like you said, as you start to add products, a person might be like, yeah, I can do, 109 a month because it's a higher quality vitamin than what I'm getting at, Walmart or something. But then as it starts to build up, like I'd like to see when people start to see results, they tend to be willing to spend more, right? But like I'd be curious to see what the average sale is.
I wrote it down and I'll find out. But it probably won't be fair because, people drop off, they're only doing 100 or something like that. But I'd like to know people who are hanging out there, what are they doing? For example, I got my son on it. He does almost $250 a month. I do almost $500 a month. So sometimes more, just because I'm still playing around. But even when I get done at some of the stuff that I'm doing it because I'm trying to play around, and you might go, and some of you are going to go. And I know a lady that was on here that was cancer, and I think she was up around $1,200 a month. So I guess it depends on what you're going on, but I'll find out an average, see if they know it. Paul's the stats guy. Anyone else? And again, ask any. Those are great questions, Jeanette, to ask. And I like those answers or those questions too. Because what
Yeah,
sucks.
I mean, I'm just thinking from a business model. If I'm charging so much a month for a coaching membership, and then on top of that, they have supplements. Then on top of that, like if they're an active person, their goal is to go on a camping trip pain free, or their goal is to compete in, an ultra trail marathon, then, those fees just to enter, plus the travel and the hotel, like all of that adds up. But that clientele tends to lead itself to paying for things like this because they do spend money on events and they don't want to miss out on the event. So it's kind of like this balance. But
So
as that adds up, I'm just kind of trying to think of how can I make that simple for people.
So I'm just going to share my story because every now and then I go, can't look at it, right? And then I try to calculate because I know almost to the T, like right now I'm pretty much carnivore, and I know that I like a pound of ribeye and 8 to 12 eggs. And that'll get me through the day. I like these little craving things here and there. I'm not saying any way to eat, guys. I've gone from vegan to vegetarian to boom, but right now I'm doing it to see whether it feels really good on my gut, and it has. So I add that up and I go, well, damn, if I get ribeye steak that's grass-fed from Aldi, the cheapest one I can find, it's $11, right? So that's $11 each day. And the eggs are $7.99 because I get the organic pasture at Aldi. How many do I need? And I'm spending $20 a day times 30 is 600. And then I go, wait a second. Now I'm told that food doesn't have all the nutrients that I need in it because it all depleted, and it never did in the beginning, even though we thought, well, it's getting depleted, but you never knew what soil you were getting it from because it might not have had minerals anyways, even if it was 400 years old. If it was 400 years ago, you might not have had soil that was good. It's better than it was, but most of the gardens were getting put ash from your wood fires onto it. So you're getting it because of the ash that we used to have put on our gardens and stuff that's no longer put on, at least from that aspect. So, well, that sucks. Now you're telling me I have to add $500. Is there a way? I'm trying to simplify my shit down, right? I want to get to the core 90. That will still be $220. I want my selenium. But when I listen to Paul and Cheryl, and I go, oh my God, they just, I didn't mention cardio beats. There's something called Pro Cardio FX, and cardio beats. It's one of the number one things when it comes to the number one thing a killer of people is heart stuff. So one of the biggest things is protect your heart. And those two products, which kind of are under the soft tissue stuff, is huge. So Pro Cardio FX, and every time they talk to me, I was like, ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. But I'm taking it for myself. I am fascinated all hell of trying to see what things change me, because I've never used it in an experimentation standpoint. Yes, I have, to a degree, money to spend up to a certain amount. And you're just going to have to accept that. And that's what I think most people do. And they just leave it. And then like right now, if the collagen and the glucogel helps my hips, which I'm spending about $200, will be spending about $200 a month on that alone. When it changes it and it's all better, now I know I got $200 freed up. Maybe I know I can try something else for something else. I'm trying to be more of that person. So that's why Cheryl likes to say, let's get the core 90 in, get you up to the progression you need, maybe get the digestion out of the way. Because remember, once you've done the digestion once, that $300 you spent is out of the way now. You're back to the core 90, and where can I spend it? And that's why I'm saying to you, my stuff runs 120, 110, 220, and I seem to play around with $300, right? Of what I need, probably a little bit more. Right. And I'm hoping when the hip's better, I won't have that and I'll transfer to something else. But for me, I'm sitting around that $600.
Yeah, and if that helps your hip and you don't have to have a hip replacement, you just saved all that money and time and risk of surgery.
And I spent
Yeah.
I spent $5,000 on stem cells. I spent a whole lot of money on dry needling, and I did that because I have instructors that do that. But
yeah, I mean, if you show people value, I totally get that. I mean, I probably spend $200 a month already on some of it's like protein powders and stuff like that. But that's why I was asking.
I mean, hey, I'm not using that. But I got kids too. I want to take care of them, and I just got a big order, and for them to start, and it like killed me. I was like, oh, I don't know. Are they going to do it? Are they really doing it? But my son was really into it. Now makes his own money, and at 21, and I said, if you're doing it, you got to do your own. And he hasn't whined too much, and I think this month he spent $248, and that was just from two core no, he got some plant-based minerals. So he got core 90 twice, because he's a big guy, 200 pounds. So that's 220. And then he got plant-based minerals at 25, so like $240.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a family of 4.
Exactly.
So,
Six.
and we're all active. We are all active. So that's gonna
the
end
core,
up.
the plant-based, if anything, if every person got plant-based and that's what you said you could afford, everybody gets one of those bottles, boom, you're better off right there.
Yeah, and I might start there especially with my kids, is just have them each drink one of those, because yeah, it's a lot. I know I can't afford what I would try on myself for everybody in the
Look,
family.
as a distributor, if I could just afford to get enough money that I afforded the supplements, I'd be happy enough, because I just play around the supplements. Get it so I was making $1,000 in supplements just so I could have or income, so make it as supplements. That'd be fine with me.
Yeah, that would be great. Sell enough supplements to pay for mine.
But don't count on it for a long time, because like I said, you get 10 people paying you $100, that's 1,000 times 8 or 8%, you got $80. Right? Yoo-hoo. So anything else, gang? All right, I think that's a good time. We have a weak water leak. Oh no, dude's got a water leak. Awesome. Yuck. Next week, maybe I'll tell you about hydrogen water, that I'm trying to test that right now too. So I guess for right now, I mean, just seeing Jeanette and I are talking back and forth, is that I'm using, I've always been fascinated with health. And so I ran into this, and it's almost like instead of the 10 courses I took of John Barnes one year, and the 10 I took the next year, I'm using that money that I would normally take a continue ed to figure out my supplemental needs. I'm just trying to ask Paul, can somehow, because it's my business, can I write off my supplements? If I do web classes with them in the back and they're props, can I then write them off because they're props that are no longer needed? I don't think, I'd love something like that. Anybody knows about tax stuff like that? Let me know. All right, gang. And remember, those of you who ordered, happy to run through this when you get your product. 30 days later, you go now, or not 20 days later, before you order the next one. Let's see where you're at. And again, don't expect rainbows and lollipops on you for 30 days. Most of us have been the way we have been for a long time. I really started seeing the difference right, for me, right about 75 days change. But initially I saw kind of like what your mom saw, more energy, right? And I was always pretty agenic. I don't really take naps or anything like that. More consistent energy without hunger was for me. I got my brother on it for the same thing of seeing whether it would take away his I've always had to use mind over matter, my willpower over it to not eat something. First thing I noticed, I didn't have to use effort to do it. Not that sometimes I don't. Now I got my brother on the product, and he ordered almost $500 worth of stuff. And I told him because I wanted to see, and he can afford it. And I called him and I said, "So where are you at? Are you snacking left?" And he goes, and he's relatively a carnivore, but he likes to snack more. And he goes, I'm still having a mental hard time about eating. He goes, I'm not sure I really need to. So he still has needs the willpower part. I haven't needed that in about 4 months. I like that. I'm waiting for somebody else to say the same thing happened to them. But that is one of the other things that I noticed with myself. So
with my mother, sometimes she has like a little bit of brain fog. So I'm seeing how that does. She has a little vertigo. So like I said, I'm keeping an eye on that, see how that does. But like you said, right now her energy is doing very, I mean, her energy has been up.
vertigo, neuropathy, that is brain. So that's going to be brain stuff. That's going to be omegas. Okay.
Well,
So,
she's taking three a day right now.
depending upon, because again, you said brain fog. Again, we're talking brain, the optimal, like where your brain is